Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us this week. My name is Catherine, and I'm the Vice President and Compliance Officer for MARR. If you haven't done so already, if you could please put your name and the organization you're representing in the chat so we can do like a roll call later. Great. Give it a couple more minutes here. Apologize for last week. An emergency situation. My husband was in the hospital. He's fine now, but a lot of people were out of town and it's just not a good day. So thank you for being flexible and being able to meet today. I would like to start off with introducing the Operator of the Month today. The Operator of the Month is Sisters of Sobriety, Angie Casimir. They've been certified for many years. She consistently runs a very well-run program, a women's program. And Angie's on here today. I'd like you to take a few minutes, Angie, and talk about your program. Congratulations.
Thank you, Catherine. I'm very honored. I got a little emotional when you made that phone call to me. Yeah, we've been in existence since 2017. We started out in Remus in a huge home. 15, we could hold 15 ladies, and that was a good start. Then we opened a place in Mount Pleasant and moved to open a place in Morley, a little like a transitional for when the girls were completed the program or had gone as far as they wanted to go to independent living. And then, of course, we decided to go self-pay and independent, and walked away from the funding to and also to move into an area that wasn't so rural because the barriers out in the other places, except for Mount Pleasant, no transportation, the employment, it was really hard. The transportation was the biggest barrier. But since moving to Big Rapids, we've been doing pretty well for the 2022 of December. And we've been doing very well with the self-pay, writing grants, donations, awesome donations. We do have 10 beds available. We have 2 open beds now. It took a minute for us to reestablish housing, getting the name out there, self-pay, and it took a good 18 months. And so that was rather slow in my book. But I do PR work once a year. We go around the state of Michigan, and I, of course, am the voice of SOS. And I'm like, can I talk to you for a day? But we have a pretty well-rounded program, very structured. We do a phone screen application, talk with the girls before they come in without too much information due to HIPAA, of course. And we do a wraparound, get them involved with the community. They have outpatient provider. I have 2 clinicians that come in and volunteer and do didactics. One has a PhD who was with us out in Remus for a good 6 years. And we do coin outs at the end when they're ready to go home, live independently, to give them that extra added, boost of self-esteem or of accomplishments. And it's just it's good for the girls to see that come in new that yes, this can happen. So a lot of recovery capital is built here, and we are going to keep going. And it's just I'm really grateful to MARR that got us started. It was pretty cool to say that there was maybe 5 people at that table back in 2015, and to see how it's grown.
That
Pardon
was
me?
Westmar back then, huh?
Westmar, yes, it was.
Westmar.
Yep. And
Yep.
so it's just a beautiful thing to see how it's grown, and that keeps my incentive going too, seeing all these houses opening. But I do know that women are still underserved. So if you guys want to donate, we'll open another house. Thank you.
How long can individuals stay in your home?
As long as they need to. There's no limit. And I've had girls over 2 years that stayed.
Okay.
Yep.
So you make sure there's a plan So, because
Yes.
obviously they can't stay there forever, we want to integrate them back into the community
Yeah.
and stuff.
And that's what we do. We transition. If the girls are ready to move forward in their recovery and going out independently, we ask them, how would you like, what does it look like to transition? Like if they get their own apartment, what if you go to your apartment with a girl from the house for a night and then maybe come back for 2 days, 2 nights, and go back and forth for a couple weeks until they're comfortable to see if that's what they, and most times the first couple of times they go home, they can't wait to come back because of the fear of
Right.
independence. And so we put that in place. Also, like with the phase house that we had, we're doing that here as well. So that when they want to be more independent, they've accomplished the whole phases of recovery, accomplished the program mandatory items that they have to do. When they're further in their recovery, come on, let's talk about transitioning. And I call it a recovery enhancement plan. I don't like the word relapse plan. I just don't like that. So it's a recovery enhancement plan that they start when they come here, and then we go over it once a month and things change. And they really like to see those plans change, the safety plans and the triggers and everything. So we work with that quite diligently.
One
Yeah.
thing that's changed the verbiage too a little bit is instead of saying relapse, they say return to use. So
Yeah.
they're trying to get away from saying
Yeah.
relapse so
Yeah.
much. Um, One thing that when I used to run homes, what we would do is we would increase the passes for individuals. When they're
Hmm.
ready to go, you always want them to give us some notice
Hmm.
and maybe instead of once or twice a month when they can have an overnight, we'd increase it to a couple times a week. You
Yeah.
know, especially if they're returning home to their family, so they can see, are you ready really to
Yes.
go back into that
Yeah.
lifestyle, because they're leaving the recovery home, but a lot of times they're just going right back to the same
Hmm.
stressors and everything that really was an issue before they came to
Yeah.
us. So it makes it, I think it makes a big difference. So
It
it's nice that
really does.
you
It really does. And that, yes, they do fill out a pass, and that's what we do. Exactly what you were just saying. Um, I have to say, though, I'd have to say probably 80% of the ladies relocate.
okay.
Um, and 10% of the ladies that go back home come back here because I will take them back in. Um, and when we talk about relapse, they call me for help, and they, all of us, and trying to learn different ways of deciding things, decision making, different behaviors, and they call us for help. I allow people to, if it's not a severe relapse, I have a room, that's like a quarantine. I don't want to say that word, but um, I'll give them that chance. Let's figure out what happened. If they're obliterated, they go right to treatment if that's what they choose to do. And I tell them, if you go to treatment, I'm going to suggest you go. And when you're done successfully completing it, I'm going to hold on to your bed so you can come back if that's what you choose to do. I know some homes don't operate like that, but my way of thinking is, let's figure out why, what happened, what triggers. Because if we just throw them out to the wolves, it's like, what are we doing here? But that's just my own vision and policy in the board, my boards. We talked in length about that. What do you do when they relapse? And if it's not a severe relapse, we'll talk about it, and then we'll see. Let's make another plan. If it's a severe relapse, then that's
Do
when we
you
suggest that
consider
they go to
severe
treatment.
relapse?
Um, if they're gone for 24 hours, if they're drinking in the house or using in the house, that's you got to go to treatment or you got to go. Um, the severity of when they drink or use during the day, if they're falling down drunk when they come back, or if they're just under the influence a bit, I'm an addict and an alcoholic and know what that looks like. Then we let them sleep it off in this room, and we do share it with the girls. I bring it to the girls for a house vote. And what would you like to see happen? Because it's their voice in the house. They live here. And so it's individualized. Depending, like I said, it depends on how severe the relapse was. Um, and there's been times where we'll get them a hotel room. and somebody, I'll stay with them, or, one of the boards will stay with them. A safe person, a safe lady in my circle will stay with them. I have a lot of volunteers. Um, and so it's just a matter of what happened. Let's figure this out. So I don't know if that's acceptable with MARR and NAR. Um, but I don't,
So, well, you got to protect the homes. It's
yes,
important that, I mean, every situation's different, but when somebody relapses, you got to protect that home, and you got to protect, you owe it to everybody else in the home that, and they need to know that they're staying in a clean, sober living place.
right.
So it's important to send that strong message as well. But I get it in a way because it's like they relapse. That's when they need help the most, because obviously there's
Absolutely.
something going on. But having that gentle handoff to somebody else that can help them,
Mhm.
but still keeping your home and environment safe is important.
Right.
If somebody ever, when I ran homes again, if somebody ever used in the home, that was it. There
No,
was total disrespect. They put the
you
home at
got it.
risk. They
No.
put everybody, and they couldn't. They were removed, and they would never be able to return. We never
Hmm.
allowed the person to return if
Yep.
they. But but everybody's different.
It is.
Everybody's
But
different.
that's our policy too. Like a year later, I've had Rick was always saying, well, after 30 days, and I didn't agree with that. If it's 6 months later and they can show me that they've had some recovery, then okay, let's talk about it. And then I talked to the house about it. And what we've done in the past is come on in, bring your support system, and let's have an interview with the house. They're going to ask you some questions, and then we'll all make a decision. Because the girls are a part of um, the guidelines. We go through the guidelines periodically, and I sit down with them, okay, what works for you and what doesn't work for you? But this is what's really going to stay in the guidelines per Sisters of Sobriety. But can you add anything, or can we take anything out? And so they're a part of that guideline, or the rule making, so to speak. And they usually have really good suggestions. They'll add stuff more than they want to take away. So it's a house. We have the house meeting every week. Like I said, I will bring information to the girls, just so much information for those that who's coming in without names. I'll mention drug of choice. I don't put girls in the same room that have the same drug of choice if I can help it. Um, so there are some stipulations in place that that we go by to let the girls know that they are a part of Sisters of Sobriety. They don't just live here and get recovery. They have a say. And that's like, when we move the ladies up from when they coin out, hey, how would you like to become the house manager? How would you like to become, a part of? And in the past, I've had girls move up to executive assistant. When we had the funding to, hire, I had like 9 staff at one time. Um, and I do have a resident advocate who is still a resident, and the house manager lives on site. She is an alumni. She's right here, as a matter of fact. Let me introduce you. This is Mary Ann. I don't know if you can say hi.
Hi.
Um, and so staff 24/7, but the resident advocate will step in when Mary Ann's gone, just kind of oversee the house. She doesn't do any, um, doesn't give direction as in, no, you can do this and no, you can't do that. She just writes it on paper, and the girls know that the decision making is with Mary Ann or myself. Um, so she just kind of oversees the house, gets the mail when she's not here, that kind of stuff. Mary Ann's the only one that gets the mail. Residents are supposed to touch the mailbox. We've had problems with that. So yeah.
How do you, now that you don't have funding, how have you adjusted with just accepting private pay? There's a lot of organizations that only work depending on the funding, and
Right.
then they send them out, when the
Mhm.
funding's done, and so it's like they weren't doing private pay. How have you been able to adjust to that?
Well, in the last 3 years since we've been here, we have taken in about $225,000 in donations. I
Um,
had taught myself how to write grants way back when, simple grants. I can't do no federal grants. If anybody knows how, come on over and teach me. But a lot of grant writing, the foundations, the Mecosta County Commissioners, it used to be the PA $2. Now the counties get the taxes from the marijuana. What really sends me off though is they also get a SOAR grant. And the SOAR grant, of course, is supposed to go for recovery. We don't get none of that, but we get the marijuana tax grant. So we get money from people using. So that just kind of finagles my brain. But we do get that money. Just a little grant writings and the donations. We have fundraisers. Our last fundraiser, we raised $4,000 just a garage sale. And we're doing another garage sale, and I asked the community for donations. So we're just really diligent of I know how to find money and look for money. But now I have another lady that just came on board on the board, and she 50 years of recovery, and she worked in the field in mental health and substance use for 30 years, and she's a grant writer.
Nice.
And so it's God's been really sending us blessings after blessings. That's all I can say. You know, we did have a van. We've always had a van, but just recently, the insurance with recovery residents and a van for a group home, so to speak, the cost of it went skyrocket high. And so we couldn't afford that insurance, so we sold the van. But the van, that was another little blessing that, came to us because our sustainability, I like to have so much money in the account so that, we're not running scared. And I haven't had to do that, but still that helped with the sustainability. And being in Big Rapids, the girls, we used to take the girls shopping once a week to meetings if they needed to, because we were so rural. There was no transportation. But here they have Dial a Ride that comes to the door. They can order their food from Myers and it gets delivered free, their groceries. I do when we do events. Um, we will have somebody else help with transportation, another person in the community in recovery, which has not been a problem.
And you're
And
within
so
walking distance of a
everywhere.
lot of places. Yeah, you're very close to
Yes.
the town now, which is nice.
Yeah.
I was telling the staff earlier, just like, I remember when I first went to your home in Remus, I was just like, you're like so far out in the boonies. I'm like, you're 4 miles at least from the closest town. I'm like, how are they going to find work? How are they going to
Yeah.
get to meetings?
Yeah.
So rural locations are really needed. But
Absolutely.
location, location, location.
Yeah.
So if you're looking
Yeah.
for another place, it's really important to keep in mind if you're too far away from a town and there's no busing, you're almost shooting yourself in the foot. You may be setting them up for failure. So it's really important to find something close to a town so that they can have those community resources
Right.
and get integrated back into the community. Anyone have
Mhm.
any questions for Angie?
I've got a comment.
Not you. I don't want to hear it. Hi, Jeff.
I know Angie and her husband Rick for 10 plus years. They were two of the pioneers of recovery here in Michigan. Remember going down to Chicago and listening to one of the first NAR conferences with you. This is before MARR. This is way, way back at Westmar. But it's after I've had about 10 years of listening to people talk about the social model of recovery. What you're doing is exactly that. It's the whole social model of recovery. You're giving a voice to the people in the program
Mhm.
that's beneficial to everybody that's in the program. And you've been there and you've done it over the last decade or so.
Yeah.
So my thought is there was a there was an outlier that Michigan had that only West Virginia and Michigan were two of the 50 states that had outliers in terms of having real strong inputs for women in recovery. And I said, I know exactly why that is because there's some um, I, other people would use the term kick ass. I wouldn't use that because that's poor language. But
No, it's not. I love it.
there's some kick ass women here in Michigan that are doing the job. So, and I think that's real evident if you look at the scoring here. So, my goal would be to have Angie as the helper person on the lessons learned portion. And I know Catherine's going to have a discussion about that in a bit, but we're going to be try to be more intentional to try to get information from the folks like you, Angie, that's been doing it for 20 years. It's like, the application of here are the laws to a particular set of facts because you've done all that.
Mhm.
And to have like a quarterly meeting where it'd be a little bit more intentional and be talking about here's some specific items that we'd like to checklist off. For instance, I heard for the very first time today from you that you not only look at the exit plan on day one, but you look at that and revise it every month for people. So I've never heard that. I've been doing this for 10 years. So those are the kind of things that I'd like to have you talk about at some point and maybe add that into here's the social model as defined in Michigan about how to actually operate a recovery residence according to best
Mhm.
practices.
Sure.
So thanks, Angie.
Absolutely. My
Thank you,
pleasure.
Angie.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And thank you.
So, well, you brought up the lessons learned. So what we decided as a team was lessons learned, instead of having it every single month right after the operator meeting, we're going to do it quarterly. There's not a lot of turnout during the lessons learned, and we think maybe if we do it quarterly after an operator meeting, so the next one we'll do would be in October, at the October right after the operator meeting, we'll do the lessons learned. And in the meantime, Kayla's going to reach out and say, hey, what do you guys want to talk about? And that meeting is for you guys. And the lessons learned is about seasoned operators. Hey, what have you learned during your time that you can share with other operators that can be very beneficial, and new operators coming on? That's what that meeting is about. It's stuff that people have already learned. We've already been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, and our experience can maybe help you. So one thing that came to mind, Andrew, when you were talking about where you get private pay now, is I spoke with an operator today, and they're charging $800 a month. So that's the most I've heard so far in the state that operators
Ooh,
are charging, which is a
what
lot,
level?
but they're getting it. They have some level 2 and level 3.
Wow.
So, but but I know there's some that are charging like 675, so
Mhm.
it's still less. It's less than what somebody's going to be paying on their own. Um,
Right.
Apartments are $1,500 a month plus,
Yeah.
depending on where you're at, utilities and everything. And I mean, for them to be paying 600 plus a month to be able to have those services at a recovery home, it's just something, just to put the little bug in your ear. It's expensive to run recovery home. It shouldn't be
Yeah.
costing you money out of pocket.
Mm.
There's supplies, the toilet paper and cleaning supplies and stuff like that. And you get people that, they go out and they find that job, and you just, with the understanding that when you come back with a paycheck, you got to start paying your program fees and start paying something towards your arrearages until you're caught up. Well, quite often, as we know, they'll come home, just pack their stuff and go, and they
Yeah.
didn't pay it all, right?
Mhm.
So there's got to be a way to kind of, you know, you got to keep afloat. We've learned the hard way, a lot of us, that you can't depend on federal funding. You can't depend on having a contract. These are the people that are coming through your door, and they don't need a pocket full of money. I hear from operators too that they don't charge, or maybe they don't charge them for 5 months, 6 months, or whatever. They got other money coming in. So what are they doing? Then they got a complaint that the residents are going out shopping all the time. They're buying all these shoes, purses, and it's just like, no, that's not teaching them anything.
No.
They teach them to be responsible. Teach them, that hey, you need to pay
Mhm.
your program fees, and this is
Right.
what it's for. And or put some money aside. Teach them how to do stuff. And this is a great opportunity to teach our residents skills, life skills. They're going to teach it in high school, right? And a lot
Yeah.
of people don't know that. It's from what they've experienced and what they've had to deal with in the past, but a lot of them haven't had to deal with that. So you might want to again consider increasing your monthly rates. Give them a month or two notice. Just say, hey, as of such and such a month, and this is where the rate's not going to be this.
And
That's okay.
we've been talking about that. Going back to them going to the store, we do at every house meeting because we never paid bills, and this is how I explain it. And so it's $5 every week, money in hand at house meeting, because that's the first bill you're going to learn how to pay, and it's only $5. And when they say they don't have it, and I see them open a pack of cigarettes, it's like, and I explained this to them in the beginning. If I see you smoking and you don't have your $5 bill payment, I'm going to take your cigarettes. You're not going to be able to smoke here. And boy, do they pay their money. But so I understand. I do understand that. And we've been talking about raising the rent or the program fees, I should say. So yeah, that's one that, and and I do have money set aside for scholarships. Some of the girls will only have, I'll tell them you got to have 2 weeks to come in and then find a job, and we'll do a payment arrangement. And that has been working out. And they normally do catch up. But like you said, they'll come home and then live here for a couple weeks and say, well, I'm out of here. So then we're out that money because we do have bills here, utilities and so forth. So yeah, so that's something that we have been kicking around.
Something too that a couple operators do is they charge a sobriety deposit. And
What's that?
something I didn't do that, but something you might want to consider.
What
Just
is that?
say you come in and there's a sobriety deposit, could be $200 or whatever,
Oh,
and they get that back when they give notice that they're leaving. They make a plan and they leave all the bedding behind and leave the
yeah.
place clean, how they found it. But that sobriety deposit can be used for what if somebody has a return to use? Maybe they can't stay there, so maybe would you like me to use this money to get you a hotel for the night? Would you like me to buy you a bus ticket with this? That's their money, so I mean that way you're not out the money, they have money there. um, so that's again something to consider. Just there's no one way to do anything, but there's a lot of different ideas and they don't work for everybody, but for some operators that's worked really well. So thank you. Jeff, do you have anything you'd like to talk about? We got a conference coming up
Yeah.
soon.
Well, I'd like Angie to put a quarter in her swear jar for saying the word rent instead of program fees. Just earn a quarter there, Angie.
I know I
I
will.
love that idea. Love that idea.
Yeah. Well, I
Stay
caught
away
myself real
from the
quick
word
though.
rent.
I know, I know.
We don't
There's
use,
no rent here.
nope, not at all. All
Oh,
program.
right.
Oh, yeah, we're getting somewhat excited. September, middle of September, I think it's 15th, about
Mhm.
Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon. The MARR conference is going to be held in Sandusky, Ohio, which is about an hour short of Cleveland. So it's not far from Michigan. It's like an hour and a half from Ann Arbor, something like that. They don't have their speakers and schedule finalized, but they expect to have it done by the end of the week. I do know that they're going to have, for instance, Dr. Keith Humphreys from Stanford is going to be there. Dr. David Bess from RecCap fame will be there. There's going to be a special presentation by Andre Johnson from Detroit Recovery Project. So he'll be there. Um, one bit of news, the uh, cheap rate for registration and the cheaper rate for staying in the hotel rooms have been extended till September the 9th or until their uh, block of rooms sell out. So as of this morning, there were still some rooms available at a discounted rate. It's like $160, $170 a night, something like that. Um, I've been to half a dozen or more of these conferences. They're fantastic. They're worth every penny. If you can possibly go, it'll be a change. It'll be an experience I think will change your feelings about how to properly run a recovery residence. I gain something every time that I go there. So that's about all that I've got to tell you about that.
Plus, it's at a water park this year.
Oh yeah, and their water park's apparently going to be open, so if you want to either show up early or stay a day or two late, you can do the water park thing. Or fish in Lake Erie if you want.
Kayla, what do you have to talk about this month?
I don't have a ton to talk about, but I do
Catherine's daughter.
want to share my screen for just a minute. There we go. I've had a lot of people ask me about about like getting certain documents about where like the postings for your recovery homes are and stuff like that. I just wanted to kind of show you guys on the website where you can find anything that you need. This is our homepage, just michiganarr.com. We keep all of our helpful documents under the applications tab still, like under the Become Certified. If you scroll all the way down past everything, we put it here to help like new applicants, so everything was in the same place. But if you scroll down all the way, our documents available for convenience are right here. We have a site review form for you operators. So if you don't want to wait for Catherine to send it out to you, or if she forgets or whatever, and you want to get this document.
I don't forget.
Not saying you do, but just if you don't get it right away, you want it quicker, you can always get it right here. It's always available for download. Same as the standards, same as our MARR code of ethics that you can adopt at any time, our LGBTQ policy, the social model of recovery explanation. A lot of people have wanted that one just to kind of like lay out what the social model means and how to incorporate it into their program. SAMHSA best practices. And then right below that are the mandatory postings for your programs. So these are the 3 documents you should have in your program, like in each of your residences at all times: the cleaning list, the maintenance repair list, and the recipient's rights posting. Again, if you have your own cleaning list or maintenance repair list, that's perfectly fine. But these 3 documents in some form should be posted at all times for your residents. So whenever you need these, they're always available on our website.
That's what I got in the.
Does anyone have any questions?
I like how you've got it set up this time, Kayla. It's like it's easier.
I thought about moving it to a different page too, but it's definitely helpful to have it here for any new applicants coming in. So everything's
think so,
in the
too.
same place. But yeah, any information on certification and things like that can all be found here on that Become Certified tab. So.
Right. One thing as well is a reminder, like when operators have your renewal, it's important that we want you to get stuff in, like, a month or 2 months, before, you start getting these reminders. Don't wait till the last minute. But if your renewal was due today, it means you're going to expire as of tomorrow. We need to have everything in place, your payment, everything that needs to be completed for your renewal need to be by today, by 5 o'clock. And if it's not received, you're gonna have a fee of $100, and that will give you 1 week to get your act together and get everything to us. And at the end of that 1 week, 5 o'clock business day, if we still don't have it, then the certification's removed. So it's really important that we keep track of the deadlines and everybody's keeping up on that. The same thing with completing your corrections. So when we turn in give you a finding report. You have 30 days to complete everything. If you need longer, it's up to you to reach out to me and say, hey, you know what? I need a little bit longer as you get closer to that 30 days. Just say, hey, can you give me an extension? Or we can give you an additional 30 days, so a total of 60 days. But if the 60 days, let's say, is up today, the 20th, you have until 5 o'clock to get all those corrections and photos of those corrections to me. So failure to do that, you're going to be charged $100 for not being done on time. And that will give you another week. That'll give you one more week, 5 o'clock business day, to get that stuff taken care of and sent to me. And if you don't have it sent to me, your certification is going to be removed. So there's always special circumstances. We look at things on an individual basis. Sometimes operators have really major stuff that they need to take care of, and it's not going to get done in 60 days. I get that. But as long as there's good faith effort put towards trying to get things done, and I can see, well, maybe something was back ordered, or maybe it's going to take a few extra weeks or another month to complete something, I'm okay with that. We're not going to hold up your certification letter for that. We'll work with you on that, with the understanding that when it is done, you're going to forward the photos to us so we can see that the correction is done. So again, it's really important that we keep track of the deadlines. Again, it's up to you guys to make sure that you have everything to us within 30 days. If you need longer than that, you should be reaching out before the 30 days and say, hey, so, and plan ahead. All right, Kelly, anything going on you want to talk about?
Just a couple of updates. So we're moving forward with onboarding with Behave. That is going well. A couple of things that have been holding back from completing processes is that we haven't received back the quotes that Behave sent out to each individual organization. Now, it might not specifically go to the person that's working in the system. It could be going to the administrator because that's the individual that would need to sign for them. I'm going to be going through my spreadsheet again tomorrow and sending out emails, and I will actually copy who I'm working with in the organization as well as the administrator, just to make sure that you guys are aware if it has not been signed as well, so you can kind of gauge where you're at in the system. And keep in mind, it's not anything that's going to charge you, or it's just some agreements between you and Behave that need to be signed by either the administrator or their designated signees. So keep in mind, if there's any kind of stall in your system or anything like that, that could be the issue. I have a couple outstanding folks for that, and I will be reaching out, like I said, tomorrow to get those addressed. And then secondly, I know we had to push our meeting back with a community of practice. We will be having it on Wednesday, the 27th at 3 p.m. I was able to get Behave to join that meeting. So in lieu of necessarily a community of practice, we'll be training for things on the system. And if you have any questions, if you have any areas that you would like covered in that training, please feel free to email me and I will add that to the agenda. I already have reports added to the agenda so that individuals, they'll walk everyone through. They have really a dynamic report section. So there are a lot of possibilities for you to filter information that you're gathering and have it presented to you in like a spreadsheet. So that's another great thing about the system. So we'll be covering that more in depth in our meeting next week. That was kind of the top request from individuals, is how the reports are working. Another thing to note is Behave is working on getting the historic RECAP results into the system so that you guys are going to be able to see those comparison graphs again. Just because we didn't have that at the very beginning, they do have to add it individually. So they are working on that currently. So your graphs will be populated. You'll be able to do the comparisons between times. There's quite a robust help center that Behave has created within the system. I have gone through it individually, line by line, just to kind of familiarize myself with the system. Been very beneficial. ROI also has a knowledge center in there. So not only does that supply you with, like, a lot of people have a question about the recurring dates, how long do I wait between doing the rec cap evaluations, etc. When we first started with the Behave section, we did have to add a to-do into our calendars because the notifications were not available at that time. That is no longer an issue. So we are at a place where the notifications are sent out automatically again, which is really nice. Remove one step of completing the evaluations with your clients. So those are some things that we're, excited about. They're getting added into the system, and the functionality. I'm hearing just from operators that they enjoy the system. They enjoy the added features of the system. They enjoy, Angie, thank you. It's so good to hear. Yeah, everyone's been saying they really enjoy the system. It's great. I mean, it has workflows in it, so many things that were not available in the ARM system. I mean, you can go from somebody starting something and having it sent right on down the line electronically to everyone else that has to complete it. And you can look where things are at in the system. You can, send messages, you can read notes from, do a report and read all the notes from the day from everybody type of thing. So many reports, so much added functionality into the system. We're really, really excited about how that's flowing. So again, any questions, any concerns, reach out. I'll be sending an invite out by the end of this week for next week. If you don't want to email me or, you don't have the time, jot it down. Anything you want to have covered, we'll go over it next Wednesday. I think that's all I got.
Questions for Kelly? Hey, Wally.
Thanks, Catherine. I really don't have anything to add, but I would really like to congratulate Angie on becoming Operator of the Month. And I can tell that after, I know I don't think I've ever spent any time really talking with you, but after listening to you talk about your program and some of the ways you operate, I can understand why you got the Operator of the Month. Just keep on doing the good work, and please, show up at the other meeting. I know it's been changed now. It's going to be it's just going to be quarterly for lessons learned. But the kind of stuff that you were sharing today is the kind of stuff that we need people to come on, the lessons learned, to help some of the newer folks that are coming into the program. So please show up for that if you can.
Thank you. I will plan on it.
Again, not even the new one, just the new ones, even the old fogies like me that've been on there for a while. You're never too old to learn something new. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. You hear different things all the time on,
Yep.
wow, I could have been doing that. That would have been so much easier. What Kelly was talking about rec cap, it's really important that, everybody looks at it a little bit differently. Oh, it's more stuff for me to do. But, you look at it like, oh my gosh, look at the opportunity and the doors this opens for the residents that come through our doors. Look at all this extra stuff and these tools that they're going to have to help them hopefully succeed this time around, right? When they go in the community, they've got these resources and they take the rec cap with them. This is stuff that they can keep track of on their phone, even after they leave your program. This is stuff that's going to be very helpful for them. And if they do and have a return to use and they need to go back to a program, it can start back up again, and it just helps give them more tools, and it will help you too as an operator to learn these tools too that maybe this work for one person, maybe it'll work for somebody else. So it helps put other resources in place for your organization, which hopefully will just make you a better operator. So any questions about what we talked about so far? You? Anybody on here, show of hands, planning on going to the conference next month? Yay!
That's awesome.
Nice.
Just create a road trip out of it. Come on down.
Yeah.
Go to the water park. Do Cedar Point for a day.
Yeah. Closer than Virginia.
Yep.
Yeah,
We
we're
just
going to
have a
be
lot of
there.
fun at the conference. I think we look forward to it every year. It's so nice to connect with people every year and see what people have been doing and connect with people that are doing the same thing you are and getting ideas and networking. And it's always a lot of fun. So if you can make it down, it's always beneficial.
I spoke with an operator earlier today too, that they talked about when they attended the conference in Michigan a couple of years ago. One thing they took from that, out of many other things, was there was a group that talked about opening up respite homes. So that's like a 5 to 7 day home place where they could stay for a little bit while they relapsed, and it gives them a safe place where they can go. It's being monitored, versus sending them to a shelter or just exiting them. Um, so there's other funding sources out there for stuff like that, respite homes. So one thing that would be great. And there's engagement centers. I know they cut funding for a lot of the engagement centers. That's one thing that engagement centers stuck out in my mind that they offered that RCOs didn't offer was there's usually a few recovery beds there where people could spend the night or a couple days. And so if somebody needed to be exited out of a recovery home because they relapsed, they had a place to go. But a respite home would also allow that. So operators that maybe do have a few extra homes, that might be something you want to think about. Look into starting, maybe turning one of those homes into a respite home. And that home it's funded. And the operator I talked to, actually, they get $70 a bed day for the respite home. But that could be used for other operators, other recovery homes that they have relapses. So, I mean, it's not just for your homes, it could be used for other recovery residences in the community, where their residents need a place to go. So again, looking into a respite home might be another way to look outside the box that could be helpful, and it would be helpful to the community. But it might be another funding source, something maybe you could look into. So,
Catherine, are you saying respite?
respite, did I say it wrong? Respite?
No, I don't know how to say it. I'm trying to write it down. So I just wanted to.
I think it's respite. Is it RESPITE?
R
Kelly?
E S RESPITE, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And there's another good reason for that. That with the slowdown in funding, there have been a number of detox programs that have actually closed. And so the detox beds availability in the state have really been reduced.
Right. And that gives the extra funding that's allowing for the funding. Maybe that was, I don't know. They're looking to look outside the box. So instead of detox, there could be a respite home. And
Would you have to have like clinical there?
I know there's got to be oversight. I don't know if there would need to be nursing or somebody available, because what if somebody had a seizure? What if, so it does have to be staffed. Somebody needs to be there, but I'm not sure. I don't know all the details as far as what kind of oversight, if there just needs to be somebody on call. I know detox, yes, there has to be a nurse on site, I believe, and there has to be at least a doctor on call and stuff. But a respite, I'm not positive on that, but something to look into.
Yeah, for sure.
With your local PHP, and it might be different requirements depending on what area you're in, because there's no consistency there, as we know, right? So one area might require you to do one thing, and another area is going to require something else. But
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions about what we talked about? Anybody have anything they'd like to share? What's going on in your program? It's August, getting towards the end of summer. It's actually a little cooler outside today, which is nice. Doing anything with your residents this summer? Anything new going on you can share? I'll call your name.
I'll share again.
Okay, go
Um,
for it.
with the recovery community and building their recovery capital, I believe, and we all probably can agree that we need to learn how to laugh and have fun again in sobriety. And so what we do, what we've been doing is like we have a gal here that's pregnant. And so Saturday they are throwing a reveal party. Sunday we're going kayaking. Tonight we're going to the music in the park, celebrating Woodstock, and it's going to be Joni Mitchell night.
Oh,
Um,
that's cool.
yeah. So we've been doing, and tomorrow we're going to Ludington for a picnic day and an activity. I'm going to have the girls, if they choose to, pick up rocks on the beach, and we're going to have their build their rocks like step work if they're in the 12-step program. What does your 12 steps look like with rocks? And we glue them together, and then I shellac them. It's kind of fun. We just had a retreat. SOS's, gosh, I think it was the 9th annual retreat. So we do a lot of activities. That's what feeds my free spirit and my sobriety is road trips. I go on road trips all the time. So the activities I think are so important, early recovery. Just today I told them we're gonna, because they were doing a line dance yesterday. We had some negativity going on in the house, so we had a house meeting and it all got smashed. And right after that meeting, they went into the living room and did some line dancing, and I thought that was pretty cool. So we're looking for a sober dance. Usually the North Club in Grand Rapids will have them, but they're like, oh no, oh no. And I said, I remember the first time I went to a sober dance. I thought I was a good dancer. I really wasn't. But no, I think it's so important to put activities in place. And if you can't do them, there's so many activities all year round if you look for them. So yeah, Halloween parties, Christmas parties, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my 2 cents.
Great. How about you, Patty?
Not a lot going on here because a lot of our ladies are on drug court, so they're pretty limited on what they can do. But we do have 3 ladies working on looking for housing. One woman was so far into the system, they actually said she was a miracle that they were returning her children to her because she had gone past the date they normally even allow it. And she's doing great. So we've had a lot of victories lately. It's been really neat to see. We had another one move out just recently and brought in a lady who has been in addiction for most of her life. And she seems to be acclimating pretty good to our system. She's still on her first 30 days and seems at peace. So we're really happy she's here.
Nice. Nice. Thank you. Samantha. Saw me looking at you. You're muted.
We love
Anything to
hearing
share?
these feel-good stories from you guys.
Maybe down the left-hand corner. There you go.
Oh, it's unmuted, but we can't hear you. It's okay if you don't have a mic.
Just do sign language. Thumbs up. Okay. Kim West. How are you? What's new? We got a few minutes left.
I am well. How's everybody doing?
Good. What's going
Good.
on this summer?
Well, we're getting ready to plan for like Labor Day, do a cookout at the house.
Forgetting Labor Day
And
is
if
coming up.
yeah, and the ladies can invite their children to come
Nice.
and spend a day at the home. That Sunday we're going to do it instead of Monday. We'll celebrate on Sunday because Sundays are the day that we have visitors from the family. But other than that, just trying to keep the ladies focused. We do have a lady that graduated the program in June. That was the last lady that graduated. She's doing well. She's
Good.
bought her a car now. And she told me that I can reach back out to her in like 3 months just to see how she's still doing.
Nice.
She was excited about moving out and reconnecting with her family.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's nice that you allow family to come. You
Mhm.
have special event. I mean, and that's what it's about, is about reuniting them, not just with the community, but with their family again. The hope would be that they could actually reunite and heal, and have the recovery residents be a part of that. But then do you want, visitors at the home? There's a
Right.
lot of homes that they don't want visitors at the home. And that's fine too. I get that because, that's their place, that's their safe place. Maybe they want to sit down and watch a show, but then somebody's got visitors over and they kind of take
Mm-hmm.
up the living room space. And, so it's,
Right. I was
needs
kind
to
of
be
just thinking like a family
welcoming
day,
guests. Yep.
that's the theme behind it, family day.
Yep. I like that. And a cookout, something they can do. Very nice. Stephanie, Community Healing Center.
I
Hi.
did figure it out. I did figure
Oh,
it out, by the
got
way.
it.
Just letting you know. Come back around.
Yep. Go ahead, Samantha.
Hi. I have been with the house, Butternut House, for a little over a month.
What's Butternut? Who's it with?
Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart. Okay.
Yep, Sacred Heart. So yeah, we're out of Berrien County in Michigan. I have 3 girls. We can hold 4 or 5. The 2 of them are really excelling. They're all doing really good in their recovery. So I kind of need some insight or some advice. So the house does not allow pets, right? Very common. And I have this girl that keeps sending me letters from her therapist and that she got her dog certified as a emotional support. And
Don't do it.
it's a no. It's a no.
Right. Yeah.
But she's can be stubborn,
Okay. There's other places she can go.
That was the hard underlining that I can give you 2 hours to leave. Yeah, because that's what's in the, it's just and it sucks because I just want her to apply negotiation, understanding, and things like that, and it's just not getting there. So I really hope maybe I know that my administrator will enforce that. So I do have that. Like, nope, administration said no. But she, is like, you need to look at federal law. I'm like, you should look where you're at because this is an opportunity.
Also, emotional support animals aren't viewed the same as like actual service dogs or service
That
animals.
is completely correct. Yes.
Yeah.
If you have a disability and you need your service animal, that is different.
Well, then, but then maybe this isn't a place for you because you need your service dog. So
right. We will find you a house that has that available. Right.
But there's a liability. There's a
Yes.
liability there. There's also, you got to think about allergies. You got other people living there. What are you not going to have people live there because they have an allergy? They're not going to be able to move in. So it's just something to think about.
Yes.
Pet therapy, yeah, but at the same time, there can be more negatives than positives to it. So,
yes.
If she can have an animal, then everyone's going to want an animal. All of a sudden, everyone has an emotional.
You will pay that $250, and they will have yes.
And that's another thing. You got to be consistent. So if you allow one person to do it, you're going to have to allow everybody to do it, or they're going to come back and say you're treating us differently because of X, Y, or Z. You're not treating me the same. You just want to avoid it. Just avoid it. Well, we don't have it in your rules. When they come in, they know these are the.
It's in big bold.
And if they want that, then that's well, this isn't the place for you. Good luck to you. So.
Yep, she was here when I adopted the house, but that's okay. Just keep me in your whatever spiritual belief systems you guys have.
Hard too when she was there before you.
Please keep me in there.
Well, that makes it more difficult if she was already allowed to bring it in. So then it's, you want to give some time to just, what, this is the way it is, and you have until such and such a date, and if or we'll just part ways, move on with your journey. So.
All right. Yep. I appreciate it. That's been something on my heart and my mind since we logged on. I'm like, yes, I get to ask somebody about this dog thing. What do I do? And then just do a hard no and leave it there. Accept it or don't. Okay.
And it's nothing personal. It has to do with business, and it's got other people. There's other people.
I love
what
my
A lot of
if?
cat,
people also
but I
don't
didn't have one when
realize
I
that
recovered my
emotional
Yeah.
support pets aren't service animals. Like a lot of people don't realize that they don't fall under the same thing. That needs to be clarified as well. Like, yes, if you had a service animal, we would allow this, but you do not. You have an emotional support pet. And those little documents they give you, those don't really do much for you except give you a cool piece of paper. Like
Something to upload into their file.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Stephanie, real quick, what's going on with Community Healing Center?
We are making some changes. Unfortunately, we are one of those ones caught by the funding. Our detox and residential is closing down tomorrow, so we're going to be working on some stuff with New Beginnings since they're part of our residential program and figuring out next steps there.
Okay.
But otherwise, doing good. Houses are running. Our men's house in Niles has really taken off and been very beneficial over in Berrien County. So we do have some good things happening still.
Well, keep the communication open. Let us know if there's anything going on with your recovery residences and stuff.
Yep.
And when we hear anything about any kind of additional funding, we will make sure that we share with you guys as well. Right now, everything's still up in the air. You know, there may be something, you know, first part of October, but that's the start of a new fiscal year. But in the meantime, think outside the box and think about ways that you can still stay afloat, increasing your fees if you need to do that. Yeah. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much. And we will see you next month. Hopefully we'll see you the Wednesday before the conference, and we'll see you at the conference as well. So
Thank you,
bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye. Thank you.